Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Tampere University webinar for our newly accepted Bachelor students holding an offer of admission. My name is Sara, and I'm joined here today by my colleagues Terhi and Kaisa. And we'll be taking a look at the next steps to be taken to ensure a smooth start to your journey with us this autumn. So let's get started on that. The agenda for today, for the next hour or so, is to give you an idea what you need to do as an offer holder. First, I will give you some tips from the admission services, and then my colleague Kaisa will say hello and some words from on behalf of the Student Affairs Office. And then after that, Terry will tell you about the different aspects of financial matters to consider. We will be recording this session and sharing it for future use. We also have the Q&A portion open at the end of our presentation, so you can ask your questions at that time by posting them in the section. Please do remember not to post any personal information with your questions. For that, then you could be in touch with us by email. The chat is not open at this time for use other than for us to post information for you directly. And this is the first webinar of a series this spring. We highly recommend joining in for these webinars as they will provide you with lots of useful information. And for this, visit our website. The link will be posted for you in the comments right now. And go there to register for the webinars. And that way you'll get a reminder before the webinar as well as then information regarding them. So we have the student housing webinar on the 13th of April. There will be the student life in Tampere webinar on the 6th of May, and then settling in Tampere on the 22nd of May. So register for those. The admissions results based on the SAT tests were published on Tuesday, the 24th of March. So congratulations to everyone who has received an offer. We're very excited to start this journey with you. The results for the certificate-based admission to our bachelor's programs offered in English will be published by the end of May. The first step for you to do would be to officially accept the study place by the given date stated in your admission letter by going to the studyinfo.fi service. It is possible to accept your study place up until the 9th of July, but if you wish to take advantage of the early bird offer, or if you were one of the few who offered a scholarship, then you must accept your study place by the date specified in your admissions information sent to you by email. It's good to keep in mind that most of the offers are conditional. So the second step after accepting your study offer is to fulfill the condition to have the condition removed. And these conditions apply to your educational documents as well as to the possible tuition fee. On our website, we have detailed instructions on how to send your documents to us. And let's take a look at this now. So the conditional offers require you to submit officially certified copies of your graduation certificate or other educational document by sending it to us using one of the approved methods. And we'll get into those approved methods in just a moment. After accepting your study place, you should send the educational documents as soon as possible, but no later than by the 17th of August at 3 p.m. If you are graduating in this spring or summer, and you will need to graduate as well as submit the documents by the 17th of August. The date to submit documents is different depending on your previous education. So to know what date applies in your case, please check your admission email and the attached documents. For example, for those accepted in the second admission group, which will be, like I said, um, published at the end of May, the document condition applies and you would need to submit your documents as well, but the dates are slightly different, as well as how the documents are submitted. So again, those specifics are in your acceptance information as well as on our website. And if you do not fulfill your conditional acceptance by submitting the required documents by the given deadline, then your conditional admission will expire. Also, if you already know that you don't intend to accept your study place, we ask that you cancel it yourself, and that way it would be courteous to the people on the waiting list who can then be the next possible offer holders. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, so now let's look at what the document requirements are. Our preferred methods of receiving documents are those that can be electronically verified or that are delivered directly from the institution, your educational institution, by email. If documents are not electronically verifiable or cannot be sent by your school, then submitting documents by post is, of course, one option. Also, it's important to remember that if your documents are not in English, Finnish, or Swedish, you will need to submit officially certified translations of your documents. So let's look at the documents or the submitting requirements on our webpage. That address will also be posted for you. So you can join me there to look at that if you want. Okay, so this is our website, the Publication for Student Selection Results webpage. And here it shows documents, how you can submit them, what the documents are. So here's a list of the different methods of how to post them. And again, here's stated that the preferred methods are electronically verifiable or delivered directly from the educational institution. Then by scrolling down a little further, you find more in-depth information onto what these different verification methods hold. So under electronically online verification, you can find what those requirements are, and it's always good to be able to show this information to your educational institution if they have questions as to what the requirements are. Then there's information on how to submit them by email, and then also documents submitted by post. There is the postal address, as well as what the requirements for those documents would be. And then, of course, if you're already located in Finland, you're welcome to visit us on campus. The instructions on how to arrange for a time slot for that would be found here on our website. So this is a good place to come and read the information and how to submit your documents. Also good to remember is that we do not accept regular photocopies. So documents sent by post have to be officially certified on them with the original stamps. Copies of those documents are not sufficient. In our bachelor's programs, we have a waiting list. And if you were placed on the waiting list, it was because you have fulfilled the minimum requirements for admission, but the quota of study places have been filled by applicants with higher admission scores, and therefore you would not have immediately been offered a study place. However, in that case, you have the possibility of being offered a study place all the way up until the 4th of August, which is when our waiting list closes. with regards to the waiting list, your ranking on the list will improve if, for instance, selected applicants decline the study places offered, or other applicants from the waiting list accept other study places, or then that selected applicants do not accept the offer of study places by the deadline of the 9th of July. And as soon as a study place becomes available, it's offered automatically to the next person or persons on the waiting list. So if you were offered a study place, you will receive an automatic message from study info and then an email from the admission services later. And again, to accept the study place from the waiting list, you must accept it by the date given to you on your specific admission. Be sure to check any deadlines sent to you by email. And then also you would have, if offered a conditional place, you'd have to fulfill your conditions as well and deliver copies of educational documents by one of the preferred methods as instructed. So if you have any questions regarding the admission, please don't hesitate to contact us at the admission services at the address listed here on this slide. So admissions.tau@tuni.fi. And that's my portion of this webinar. On behalf of the admission services, I'd like to welcome you to Tampere University, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall.
All right, I think now it's my turn. So hello everyone, and congratulations on my behalf as well on your study place offer. My name is Kaisa and I work at the Student Affairs Office, and here we take care of students who have accepted their study place offer, and we answer all sorts of questions you may have during your study time, and we will guide you forward if needed. The two most important things to do right now are accepting the offer and reading through the instructions provided in the admission letter and attached documents. These steps I'm about to go over are mentioned also in the new students checklist, which I recommend you to go through and keep in mind as a place to check in case you forget what you were supposed to do. Firstly, I would like to say a few words about the practicalities of moving to Finland. First and foremost, you should start your residence permit application process as soon as possible if you need a residence permit to move to Finland. Please read through the instructions on Migri's website carefully, and if you have questions about the application process, please contact Migri directly, as they are the responsible authority and can provide you with the best advice. If you are liable to pay tuition fee and you are worried about receiving the residence permit in time to begin your studies in autumn, you can check the refund policy on our website. Another thing is, of course, applying for accommodation. The university does not have dorms, so please make sure to apply for an apartment as soon as possible, and remember to accept the housing offer once you receive one. The main student housing provider is the Tampere Student Housing Foundation, also known as TOAS, that is TOAS, and the application period for their furnished rooms opens on the 5th of May, so make sure to submit your application. We at the university have no power over the application handling times or when you receive offers, so I can't stress enough how important it is that you arrange your housing on time, because you yourselves are responsible for your own accommodation arrangements. Regarding health matters, in Tampere there are student health services, public health services and private health services for you to choose from, should you be in need of them once you start living here. You should arrange health insurance and travel insurance prior to your arrival. There is more information available about these on the new students checklist, so please make sure to read through it and check what applies to you. For example, is the health insurance required for your residence permit? Those are the 3 steps you should take care of now in the springtime. We will contact you again by the end of July and provide you with further information about the registration process as well as the deferment if you are not able to join us this year. If you register as attending, you will get your user account in August before the welcome week, and then you will also be able to order your student card. So those are the most relevant matters at the moment, and if you have questions, you can ask them through the Q&A or email us at studentservices.tau@tuni.fi. And just to remind you, please don't share any personal details in this webinar. That's all from me for now, and thank you for your attention so far.
Great, thank you, Kaisa. Please bear with me for a little while while I change the share. Right. That should be it. Good. Okay. First of all, congratulations on your admission to Tampere University on my behalf as well. My name is Terhi, and I work here at the university in our services for international education and integration. And I will be talking to you today about the financial aspects of preparing for your studies here at Tampere University. I'll start with a few words on tuition fees and scholarships, and then finally I'll talk a little bit about budgeting for your studies in general. So let's start with some information which is relevant for our fee-paying students. As I'm sure you already know, in Finland, fee-paying are students who are citizens of non-EU and EEA countries who are studying for a bachelor's or a master's degree in English. Here at Tampere University, our fee structure is really simple. The annual tuition fee in all our bachelor's programs is 10,000 euro, and in all of our master's programs, 12,000. All students who are accepted to a bachelor's program also gain a study right to complete a master's degree at Tampere University. So the tuition fee for the master's programs will be relevant for you if you also complete the master's degree here at Tampere University. The tuition fee for bachelor studies will obviously be applied during bachelor studies, so for the first 3 years usually, and until the graduation from the bachelor's program. And then the tuition fee for master studies will be applied after that. There are some exceptions to the liability to pay tuition fees. For example, if you already reside in Finland with a permanent residence permit, you will be exempt from tuition fees while that residence permit is valid. You will find more details on the fee-paying status. There are many different details involved in this, the definition of the status. So more information on all of this is available on the terms and conditions of tuition fees in bachelor's and master's programs at Tampere University document, which you have received with your admissions letter as an attachment. Be sure to read that through carefully. And you should notice that by accepting your study place, you will also confirm that you understand and agree with the terms and conditions that are related to tuition fees and the fee-paying status. These terms and conditions have been sent to all students who have been accepted to our bachelor's programs offered in English, regardless of their status. The annual tuition fee must be paid each academic year or semester before you can enroll for studies during that semester. So you should make sure to budget for your annual payments so that you can make them in a timely manner before the start of each academic year, so you can make sure to progress smoothly in your studies. During the first year, the whole annual tuition fee must be paid before the start of studies. And the final deadline for the first year payment is on the 31st of July. But do notice that if you wish to take advantage of the early bird offer that was already mentioned, the payment deadline for the reduced tuition fee will be earlier. I'll talk about the early bird offer in a bit more detail in a moment. All of our tuition fee payments are made through the Flywire payment platform, which offers a number of payment methods, including bank transfers and credit cards. Those are always available, and possibly also many more methods depending on where you're paying from. Usually it is possible to pay the tuition fee in your own currency or make the actual payment in your own currency, but euro payments are also possible if that is a better option for you. Detailed information and also the link to the payment platform is available in the early bird and payment information attachment that you will find in your acceptance email. And you will also find all of this information on our students guide online. Definitely the easiest and safest way to access our payment platform is to use the direct link that is available in your email. That way you can be absolutely sure that you are in the payment platform for Tampere University. One question that we often get on payments is whether it is possible to pay the tuition fee in installments. As an answer to this, yes, it is possible to make payments as smaller one-time payments, but the payments need to add up so that the whole tuition fee must be paid before semester enrollment is possible, and you can start your semester. As a rule, all fee-paying students at Tampere University pay full tuition each year, but there is a handful of, I would say, very lucky students who have been awarded a very exclusive Tampere University tuition fee and scholarship. This is at the moment available only to a handful of the very best applicants. All Tampere University scholarships that are currently available have been awarded in connection with the admissions process, and the results of all scholarship applications have been communicated at the same time with the admissions decision, or will be if you are still waiting for your results. And there is no waiting list for scholarships. So all of those who have received a scholarship already have the information on this. I think big congratulations are in order to all those who have received a scholarship. For you guys, the important thing now is to make sure to accept your scholarship, to make sure that you don't lose it. The deadline for accepting the scholarship is on the 21st of April. And by simply accepting your study place, you will also accept your scholarship. There's also terms and conditions connected to the scholarship, so make sure to familiarize yourself with these conditions. You will again find these attached in your acceptance email. And again, notice that by accepting your study place and without the scholarship, you also confirm that you understand and agree with the terms and conditions of fees and scholarships at Tampere University. In the terms, I suggest you notice the duration of your scholarship. Your scholarship is valid for the normative duration of your studies, which is 3 academic years for a bachelor's degree and 2 for a master's degree. And now that you have gained a study right to both a bachelor's and a master's, if you so choose, your scholarship can also be valid for a total of 5 academic years. There are, however, certain conditions for your progress in your studies, which you will need to meet in order to retain your scholarship also in master's studies. In practice, you will have to graduate with your bachelor's degree in the target time for that degree, so in 3 academic years, to be able to retain your scholarship throughout the master's studies as well. All of our scholarships that we have now awarded in the admissions process cover 50% of the annual tuition fee, which means that if you've been awarded with this scholarship, we will waive half of your annual tuition fee, and you will then need to pay the other half before you can enroll as a student. You'll find all the necessary links, the payment info in the scholarship certificate that is attached in your acceptance email. Now, as I said, the number of scholarships that is available is very, very limited at the moment. But the good news is that all fee-paying students who have not been awarded a scholarship are eligible for an early bird offer, which will give a 2,000 euro discount on your first year tuition fee. Using the offer is really easy. The only thing you need to do is to accept your study place offer online by following the instructions that you've received. And pay the reduced tuition fee, that is 8,000 euro, within 2 weeks of receiving your admissions decision. The deadline for the admissions, the early bird offer will be on the 7th of April if you've received your acceptance letter on the 24th of March when the results were first published, but will be later if you have been accepted from the waiting list after the 24th of March. So because there is kind of variation that depends on when you've been accepted, be sure to check your specific deadline in your acceptance email. The deadline, as well as all the payment details, are available in the early bird letter that you have received in your acceptance email. The early bird offer is available also for applicants who are admitted from the waiting list. But please note that for these applicants, the offer is only available if there is 2 or more weeks left to the general deadline for accepting the study place. Right now, this is still very much valid. The deadline will reduce to less than 2 weeks in late June. But all the applicants will receive their specific deadlines and details in their admissions email. Remember again that by accepting your study place, you will also accept the terms and conditions of tuition fees, which you will find attached in the same acceptance email where all of the relevant information is available. When you make your payments for the reduced tuition fee and any tuition fee, it will take a few days for the payment to register on the university account. But for the early bird or with the early bird offer, you don't really need to worry about that, as long as you make the deadline before makes the payment before the deadline. So your payment needs to happen at the time of your early bird deadline at the latest in order for you to be eligible for the offer. And as long as this happens and you also accept your study place by the same deadline, you will receive this offer. Now, if you miss the early bird deadline, or if you simply decide not to take advantage of the early bird, you may still accept your study place by the general deadline for accepting your study place, which is on the 9th of July, and then pay the full tuition fee by the 31st of July. In this case as well, the payment is done through the same Flywire payment platform, so the same payment instructions apply also in this case. Oops, I'm sorry. That was too fast. All right. Okay. What I still wanted to mention here was the graduation scholarship. That is something that we now have available to all of our students who graduate from our bachelor's program and continue with studies in a master's program. So if you complete your bachelor's degree within the normative study time, that is in 3 academic years, and you don't already have a scholarship, you will qualify for a graduation scholarship, which will give you a 2,000 euro reduction on the first year tuition fee of your master's studies. So basically, you will receive a comparable offer then as the early bird offer also in your master's studies. This scholarship is available on application, so you do need to remember to apply to all fee-paying students who don't have a Tampere University tuition fee scholarship already. So now on budgeting for your studies in general. So what I said before was kind of the essentials for fee-paying students, but budgeting in general is definitely relevant for all of our students, regardless of your fee-paying status. Our scholarship program is at the moment able to help only very few fee-paying students, and the university does not offer any other financial aid. So it is important to budget for your studies carefully and do it already before your studies start. All of our studies must fund, students must fund their studies and living expenses themselves. So it's really important that adequate funding is available for the whole study time. You can, of course, look into scholarships and grants offered by other institutions. There might be foundations or other organizations that offer scholarships, or in some countries, the governments might offer financial support to their citizens who are studying in other countries. So it's a good idea to look into these. If you need to apply for a residence permit to study in Finland, the immigration authority Migri will have its own requirements for your funding. In order to get a student residence permit, you need to have a minimum of 800 euro per month at your disposal. And I'd say that the 800 euro is a good minimum budget for what you should have at your disposal to support yourself in Tampere for any student. If you are really careful with your money, I'd say that for most students, in order to live comfortably, you may want to budget a little bit more. Obviously, your living costs will greatly also depend on your personal preferences. So it is a good idea to do a little bit of research on living in Tampere beforehand, so you can budget according to your preferences and have a comfortable experience. On the slide here, you can see some examples of what you will need to budget for when you plan your studies, including some fees which are compulsory for everyone, such as the healthcare and student union membership fees, which each and every one of our degree students will have to pay each year when they study. And then obviously the obvious expenses from housing and food, for example. You can see some estimates here. If you need to apply for a residence permit, you should also remember that process will also cost some costs. The application comes with a fee, and in some cases you may also need to travel to another country for your appointment to prove your identity. So it's a good idea to look into these as soon as possible as well. To help you support yourself during your studies, you may be planning to find a job here in Tampere, and that may well be an additional option. But I'd say that getting a job should never here be your only plan for supporting yourself during your studies. In Finland, job opportunities on campus are not common in the same way as in many other countries. And because of this, getting a part-time job may be hard. It will require activity and initiative. And in many cases, maybe also Finnish language skills, which you will get during your studies. You will be able to study the language. But initially, this might be a challenge. While many of our students do work during their studies, it is not a given at this time that you will be able to find a job. And in any case, it may take quite a bit of time. So because of this, it's always a must to budget really carefully and also prepare for your living costs already before you start your studies. Now, even though you do need to be prepared for the costs, the good thing is that Tampere is truly a student city. So you'll also find many student discounts around the city. As an example, student meals, for example, at campus restaurants are subsidized. So you can, here on campus, you can eat a full meal for a little over 3 euros. You'll also get access to student healthcare services that have really affordable fees, as an example. On our website, you will find many more tips on how to live on a student budget in Tampere. And lots of information that will help you budget for your expenses. Our student ambassadors have written, I think, a number of different blog posts that also include some tips and experiences on living in Tampere on a student budget. So do check that out when you're making your plans. They will be able to offer really, really useful tips for you as well. All right, that was everything in today's webinar. Thank you for listening. If you have questions on what we've talked about, you can still ask through the Q&A section. We will still stay online for some time and answer your questions. But do remember not to share any personal information in the chat. And if you have any questions on your personal situation, or any questions at all after this, you're always welcome to send us an email to our admissions office. You can see the address right there on the screen. For general questions, we'll also have a question box available on the Tampere University Instagram account for the next 24 hours and post answers in the stories there. So make sure to also follow that for answers and information. You can again see the up and coming webinars here, which were already mentioned. So remember to check out those on our website. The links to sign up are available on the Welcome to Study at Tampere University webpage. And if you miss any of the webinars, that's where you will also find all of the webinar recordings. All of these will be recorded. This afternoon, our bachelor's programs will also be organizing their own webinars for their accepted students. Science and engineering will start their webinar directly after we finish this one, roughly maybe at around 2 o'clock through their own link. And then sustainable urban development and socially sustainable societies will start their webinars at 2:30 Finnish time. So pretty much directly after this as well. You may have already received the links to these webinars in your email, but in any case, we'll post the links to these webinars in the chat. So all of these will be in their own channels. In addition to all of this, we'll also be sending you information and updates on topical matters by email regularly during the spring and summer, remind you of some of the things that you need to consider when you're preparing for your studies here. And you'll be receiving the first edition of this newsletter later this week. Now, I'd say congratulations once more and welcome to Tampere University. We really look forward to meeting you on our campuses in August.